Okay, I'd like to invite Pastor Katie Vanderlinden from Ebenezer Church up for an invocation.
Thank you. Greetings, Common Council members. Very good to be here this evening. My name is Katie Vanderlinden. I'm the pastor at Ebenezer Moravian Church, right on the border of Watertown and Johnson Creek. I'd like to share with you some words from the Pope. Peacemaking calls for courage, much more so than warfare. It calls for the courage to say yes to encounter and no to conflict, yes to dialogue and no to violence, yes to negotiations and no to hostilities, yes to respect for agreements and no to acts of provocation, yes to sincerity and no to duplicity. All of this takes courage, strength, and tenacity. I invite us to pray. Make us peacemakers. Make us sensitive to the pleas of our citizens who entreat us to lead, to grow, to help, and to support. Keep alive within us the flame of hope so that with patience and perseverance we may opt for dialogue, reconciliation, and renewal. May peace triumph at last, and may the words division or hatred or war be banished from everyone, not just in the room, but maybe in all humankind. Diffuse the violence of tongues and hands, renew hearts and minds, so that the word which brings us together will be brother, sister, sibling, friend. And may we have the way of life that always be of peace and shalom. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
Okay, I'd like to call tonight's Common Council meeting to order. It is 7:05 p.m. Okay, Mr. Stevens.
Prior to calling the roll, I'd like to introduce Lucy Peterson is our new Deputy Treasurer Clerk that's with me today. Davis?
Here.
Lampy?
Here.
Berg? Here. Bartz? Here. Blanky?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Arnett?
Here.
Wetzel? Here. Moldenhauer.
Okay, thank you. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Okay, first on the agenda, minutes of council meeting held on January 20th, 2026. Mr.
For approval of the council minutes of January 20th.
Okay, a motion by Smith. Okay, second by Wetzel. Thank you. Okay, questions, comments on it? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Next, we have comments and suggestions from citizens present. Anybody wishing to speak, just state your name and address.
Eric Schmid.
Eric Schmidt, 605 Lafayette Street, Watertown, Wisconsin. I'm calling because it was brought to my attention that one of the aldermen on the board made comments in a public forum stating that certain policies driven by the state level are unconstitutional. And so to clarify some of those things, they're rhetoric, inflammatory, and blatantly untrue. So to back it up, I brought the Constitution to read the First Amendment verbatim for you, which was ratified in December 15th, 1791. Amendment 1 reads, Congress shall make no law regarding or respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedoms of speech or the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redresses of governments. Nowhere does that say anything to do with how tax dollars are spent in regards to education or not spent in education. So if aldermen are going to make comments relating to the Constitution, I suggest you pick up a free Constitution and read it first.
Thank you.
Katie Vandernen.
Sorry, my handwriting was scribbled. Katie Vanderlinden, N8071 High Road, Watertown, Wisconsin. I'm here to speak on behalf and update you on the emergency shelter program that's been going on. We had originally approached the Common Council to help us with a place, and that was unavailable. In the meantime, we have partnered with both the Heritage and with the Super 8 and are providing shelter. On the night of 1/28, we sheltered 22 people, including 3 children. That's one night. In the year of 2025, we opened it quickly in November before we had planned to open and housed 50 different people, aging from 6 months to 86. Now, where would those people be otherwise? This is not a free service. This has cost us thousands of dollars that the generosity of this community and our churches have been able to do so, but it is not sustainable. So again, I ask you to look at places like the former fire department, to look at places like the basement of this building, to look at other spaces in which we would be generous to take care of, but which would cost us a lot less money, because every dime we have to spend to put people up for a night is a dime we don't get to spend feeding, clothing, getting items, planning for the future, because guess what? No place that we have looked at has a sprinkler system, which is required by this Common Council. So in order to do that, we have to save money, which we're not doing by putting up people every night. We are open yet again tonight and have just as many people spending the night, thanks to us. So please, believe the unhoused is all of our issue, not just welcoming Watertown. And again, consider ways that we can partner to provide safe spaces. One quick note, we think it's ironic that we're worried about people dying in a fire while our workers are awake, but we're not worried about people freezing outside.
Thank you.
That's it.
Good? Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have a public hearing. For zoning request of Lot 0, Gateway Drive, PIN number 291-0815-1631-003, from MR8 to SR4. Anybody wishing to comment on that public hearing, if you state your name and address, come up to the front. Okay, seeing none, I will then close that public hearing at 7:11. Okay, next reports, we have Board of Health minutes from December 16th, Planning Commission minutes from January 12th, Finance Committee minutes from January 12th, Public Works minutes from January 13th, Parks, Recreation, and Forestry minutes from January 19th, and RDA minutes from January 21st. Mr. Berg?
Robert, or Mr. Mayor, I wanted to just maybe raise the issue that the Finance Committee meeting minutes for January 12th, they had a topic there where there was a split vote. And in my recollection of this topic, as far as showing what happened, I've seen it in the past, but not maybe consistently, where we would show, if it passed, and people are going to know who's on the committee for finance, but if they show a split vote, I've seen it typically where they would show the dissenting vote or votes. That would be there for transparency, for awareness, because in the end, we are elected officials. People are curious how we perform our duties, and I have no problem voting in the minority if I feel it's the right issue to do. So I have no problem with being, you know, I'm not doing it intentionally, but I just feel it's a good intent to show the actions of our finance committee. So I'm asking if we could go with that approach and show the dissenting individuals that may or may not be voting that way. Well,
Which
I think
number
it
do
was
you-
on, it was actually number 10.
There were several. There were 7, 10, and 9 that had split votes in that meeting. Is that your intent?
Yeah, the intent, I think, where it passes is to show, you know, where the dissenting vote came from. 1, 2, or whatever number. In our committee, we have basically 5, so you would have typically maybe 3 to 2 or that type of thing. But I just recall in the past doing that, so I'm just trying to bring it back as a topic. And if there's agreement, I would say we show the dissenting persons that did vote in the minority.
Ally, future agenda item? Or? Okay. Why don't we just, we'll notice that
All
as
right.
a future agenda item, Mr. Berg, okay?
The other topic I wanted just to give a compliment on was in looking through the Park and Rec minutes from January 19th. It was telling the story of Emerald, Ash Borer, and the impact it's had on our community from 2002. And in the minutes it shows that they had approximately 1,000 ash trees that were affected by this disease. And what was remarkable for me is that they're showing that we're down to 74 ash trees that remain having this disease that need to be treated and dealt with. But to take away that many over this period of time is a compliment to the workforce and to the employees within our department, our city. We made a decision to get them cut down and to deal with them through a treatment if we felt needed. But the fact that we've taken away 926 of them to this point is quite a compliment to our staff. And I think we obviously had to do it. They weren't going to get better, and it was going to turn into a problem and a safety issue at some point. So I'm giving kudos to our city for doing what we did.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Berg. Okay. Nothing else. Move on to communication recommendations. A reminder, on February 17th, council meeting will be moved to February 16th on that Monday due to the primary election. And a different person will be chairing that meeting too, I believe. Next, we have Main Street Program Quarterly Update.
Hello. I have just 4 things that I wanted to highlight from our first quarter of 2026. First, we started off by advancing our downtown initiatives, and one of our biggest initiatives is our facade and sign grant program that we have. I wanted to take a moment to just explain to you the process of our grant program, because now the city is investing in that program. I wanted you to understand the process that applicants have to go through and what Main Street does to try and make that process as smooth as possible. So an applicant would turn in an application to the Main Street office. That application has to contain the application itself. It has to contain an estimate from the company that they are going to use for the project. It has to have a rendering of the project complete. So it has to show me the building actually as like an artwork picture with what they want to do to their building or the sign that they want to create, and that has to be placed on the building in that picture as well. And then finally, they have an application fee. There's a $50 application fee for sign grants and a $100 application fee for facade grants. That is returnable. That's returned to the business owner once they have completed the project in the time allotted. Once I've received the application, they've turned everything in, then we go to the Historical Preservation Commission,
and I present that project to them. They meet at the end of every month, and usually I have 1 or 2 projects that I try and stay on top of and present to them. During that meeting, the Historical Preservation Commission has the opportunity to make suggestions or recommendations. They also have the opportunity to either approve or disapprove of the project. If it is approved, then it goes to our grant committee that is part of the Main Street program. It's members of our board that have sacrificed their time further to meet together and to look at these projects and establish how much money they will be granting to that applicant. Once that is established, then the applicant is given the go-ahead to start the project, and once they complete the project, they turn in a paid invoice to the Main Street office, and at that time, I write them a check for whatever the grant that was awarded to them. They also receive their application fee at that time as well. That's refunded to them. There are a couple of things that we require of the applicants even after the project is done. We ask that they volunteer for at least 2 hours for the Main Street program. Since we have funded part of their project, we would like to see them volunteer. Oftentimes that's done for our flower planting or Riverfest is another big opportunity for volunteers for our applicants. So we have that's our community engagement requirement that we have for the project. And I just wanted to go over that with you because part of our MOU is that you're contributing $5,000 to our grant program. So I wanted you to understand the process that our applicants are going through. We've also spent first quarter preparing for the event season. We had 2 events in January already. We had our winter market. That was the first time that we've done a winter market, and I do believe it was a success. We had 15 vendors in the community room of the library, and I would say we had about 150 patrons that came through and were able to shop at the different vendors. The second event that we had in January was just on Saturday, our Sweet Stroll. We had 78 participate. I think the cold kept many of them away, but we had a lot of sweet treats that were offered, and I was excited to see that one of our newest businesses got a lot of engagement from the community, and that was the Basket Bar. So they were one of our locations. I walked in at one point in time, she had about 20, 25 people in there, and she was explaining what she does, and so that was exciting to see. We have some events coming up in February. We have another winter market. It's actually on Valentine's Day. And again, we're looking forward to about 15 to 18 vendors that will be there and showing their wares. And then in March, we actually have three events. We have our morning mixer event on March 1st. And then we have one more winter market on March 7th, and then on March 12th we have our Luck of the Irish bingo. Again, just so that you're aware, whenever we do a bingo, that money is what funds our grant program. Those are very important events for us, as that does allow us to give more funds to the projects that come. We're also going to have another Main Street meetup in March. That's a time for us to get together as business owners and meet with, we'll invite city officials, board members will be there, and we talk about different issues that are going on Main Street and try and solve them for each other. So those are some things going on in March. I'm very excited to say one of the things that was in our MOU that was new this year from Main Street as a commitment to the city was that we would offer 4 events, or at least 3 events at Benson Family Town Square. And I'm excited to say that we have established 5 nights actually that we're going to have a farmer's market after hours. So 5 Friday nights starting in June, we will take over those night markets that Parks and Rec was doing, and we will have night markets. We're going to encourage the businesses to stay open later those nights so that we can kind of have an after hours party on Main Street. Lots of shopping and walking around is the hope. So we're excited about that one. The third thing that we've been up to over at Main Street is strengthening our community partnerships. Very excited to have been meeting with Deb Seibel to talk about what are some ways that we can encourage some new entrepreneurs, new businesses to come into Watertown. I call the Chamber building where tourism, Main Street, and Chamber all work, I call it just 519. That's our address, so it just makes it easy. So 519 has been meeting with Deb Seibel and talking about some different opportunities that possibly we could be involved in to help in bringing some more business. So I'm excited about that. And then the last month we have been partnering with the Watertown United School District. They gave their teachers $15 vouchers to be able to shop downtown along Main Street. And so we've been receiving those vouchers back from the businesses and paying those out for those teachers to be able to shop downtown. So that's been an exciting project as well. And then I've also submitted to you the budget for Watertown Main Street program for 2026. And that's what we've been up to.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie? Okay.
I do.
Thank-
Oh, I have a quick one. Do you track the occupancy rate of the businesses downtown? I don't know if you keep track of, 55%, 70%, 80% are filled.
I don't know that I could give you a percentage. I could basically go down Main Street and be able to tell you just by picturing it how many storefronts are empty. I could also tell you why they're empty. We do have a couple of buildings that are in the process of being renovated to have businesses in them, but they are currently, the storefront is empty right now. What I'm working on right now is working with building owners that if their storefront is empty, that we would be able to decorate it properly so that it still looks inviting. But I can't give you a percentage. I can work on that, though, and
All right.
get it back to you.
Cool, thanks.
Yes, sir.
So one of the things I think we're relying on the Main Street program to be a major conduit is to make sure what we're doing with the reconstruction is good for downtown business. Are you getting feedback or concerns on that yet?
Yes, sir. I think a big concern that came up in the last couple of weeks is the talk of the streetscape. One of the things as I talk to businesses is they know it's going to be difficult. Many of them stayed open through the bridge reconstruction, so they understand it will be tough, but they also look at the proposal for the streetscape as the shiny light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, and they know that it's going to be an ideal place to have a business, to have patrons walking down Main Street. So there is concern that some of that might be changed up. And then just overall, they want to be heard on issues, and they're relying on me to vocalize that for them. And I feel like I've working with Deb, with the task force, and I've talked with the mayor several times. I think the key will just be really good communication during that time as well. But yes, there is some concern about talk of changing up the streetscape for sure. The lamp post in specifics, as I was in that meeting, they are 25 years old and they've already been painted. So many of the business owners kind of scoffed at the idea of reusing those.
Anybody else? Stephanie, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have the 2025 Community Health Assessment. There for you. If anyone's got any questions, I know Mrs. Quest is here. Mr. Berg?
Yeah, I want to give a compliment again because I know each of our department heads, when they give us their reports, they're very thorough. They give a lot of information, and I know we do our best to get the word out on the high points within these reports, but this one is just full of good information, talking on topics of mental health and all kinds of suggestions that can be helpful, including ideas and suggestions regarding the use of cell phones and what have you, but it's just really informational. I really did spend some time to look it through, and I did, though, just as a point of information, it shows, again, our city right now, with the current demographics of how we are made up as a city, we are showing that we are, I think, 68,000 for a median household income for the city. As a state, we're at almost 75,000, so we're clearly below the median household income, which we pretty much knew, and at least at this point in time, it still is that way. What I think was unique, too, just in looking at the makeup of our city, is that we have, when compared to the state as a whole, where they showed 8% on Hispanic background of our residents within the state and city, and we have 11.5% within our city. So we are higher than the average on which we know, but it's just informational, and it's worth making note of that we get a very large contribution from Hispanics in our population. But it's a very good report, and the more they can get the word out and make people aware of, I think we all benefit from that.
Anybody else? Questions for Carol? Okay. Right. Move on to the 2025 Building Safety and Zoning Department Annual Report. There are people online if anyone has a question on that as well. Okay. Mr. Lampy?
I don't think I see it in the report, but I think one of the things that would be interesting here would be a little bit more information in terms of inspections and enforcement actions. I don't want to put anybody on the spot here, but that might be interesting.
Okay. For future reports, you mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Know something. I'll make a note just to follow up on that, Mr. Lampy. All right. Anybody else? Mr. Berg?
Yeah, just one other comment involving the very good information, again, that comes to us to make us aware of how we're growing and in different areas of how that growth is showing up here. But the one graph that was on types of residential construction showing over a 10-year period, and we have been, I think Alderperson Blanky made reference to a perception of being stagnant. And we have had that image, and it's because of good reason. If you look at a lot of years when we had 15, 16, 12, 17 as far as the number of single-family homes that were built for that year. But this last year that we just finished, and we're into looking at more critically, we've got 55 that are showing up there, and that is the highest number in the last 10 years. Now, they didn't go back further than 15, but I think we clearly are on a bit of a momentum here that is in the right direction, and it will benefit us in our budgets, and it'll benefit us in our population to hopefully have growth here that's going to help us in all kinds of ways. So I think it's a good number to look at, and I'm glad to see it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Berg. Mr. Blanky?
I just have one item from the first page of the report. About halfway through, you'll see a note about 26 approved conditional use permits at Plan Commission. And this is just a way for me to really thank Brian Zervis and the entire zoning staff and Vanderwall for all the work they're doing on the zoning rewrite, which you're going to be seeing coming through in the coming months through this year. And one of the biggest things that will do is eliminate the need for most, I'd like to say all, but I can't, I don't ever want to say an absolute, but most of the need for a conditional use permit in the new zoning code should be eliminated. So that's one thing where it's a lot less work on those that city staff will have to do, that they can focus their efforts elsewhere.
All right, we'll move on to miscellaneous business. Payroll summary from December 24th through January 6th and January 7th through January 20th. No vote needed. Okay. All right, next. Convene a closed session per statute 19.85 to confer legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. Dodge County Comprehensive Plan / Town of Emmett Boundary Agreement.
I would so move.
Okay, motion by Lampy. Second by Berg.
Lampy.
Aye.
Berg. Bartz. Blanky.
Aye.
Smith. Arnett. Wetzel. Moldenhauer.
Aye.
Davis.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. 7:34. We got something on that. We'll go back and record, I guess. It should start recording.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Back in open session. It's 8:09. Okay. Last thing on the agenda, ordinance 2601, amend chapter 550 zoning code through the amendments of language to sections 550-32C and 550-33C, 550-36C, and 550-37C, and 550-56, sponsored by myself and the Planning Commission on its first reading. Okay, motion by Lampy. Second by Blanky.
Lampy.
Aye.
Berg.
Aye.
Bartz. Blanky.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Arnett.
Aye.
Wetzel. Moldenhauer. Davis. Motion carries.
Okay, next we have comments and suggestions from citizens present. Seeing none, I'll then look for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Bartz.
Second.
Second by Moldenhauer. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. 8:10.